What is it about this school? You had the counselor of the year, the first year teacher of the year, the principal of the year. Your students achieve at a high level across the district, so there's magic going on here.
Thank you.
And it always goes back to the leader.
She's just an amazing person, and I'm so happy that you are our elementary principal of the year. Could not put you a nicer, sweeter person. Love you.
It is a pleasure to be here, and it is an honor to represent principals in Volusia County and any educator in Volusia County. It is the best place to be. So go Team Volusia!
Is one of the most imaginative principals that we have, and this school has just rocketed it. Since she's been here, I'm so proud of this school, and then I'm so proud of Patty Core, and isn't she well deserving of this?
We recognize this isn't just her, it takes the team, but boy is she a rock star.
I would never be standing here if it wasn't for each and every one of you. You know that. And I just hope that I'm worthy of being your leader, and I've done you proud. And this is a great day for Galaxy Middle School.
I can tell everybody in the planning department, this is one of the busiest ladies that I see. She is always here. She always does a great job. I cannot think of a better district employee to receive the Superintendent Outstanding Award.
Thank you.
I thank everybody. I have loved all of my time working here. I told Sarah Lee she was not allowed to retire until I did, because I wasn't working for anybody else. And so just thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
None of this would be possible without the support that we get from the Futures Foundation. Once again, they prove to us they support our students, our schools, our administrators and staff. Thank you, Futures.
Hi, my name is Hanya Ahmed, and I'm a senior at DeLand High School. I think it's important to try to use the influence that you have to support other people.
So today marked the official groundbreaking for construction of Pearson Elementary Replacement School. And yeah, it's somewhat of a symbolic act. We had everyone here. We had an incredible turnout. So this is a way to formally kick off the actual construction of our new school.
This school is just a model for 21st century learning. It's going to be just an exciting space for our kids to come into, and I can't wait to see their faces when they enter this building for the first time. The interior design of the school is is flexible and just made and designed for education.
Hi, my name is Lynn Sieber. I'm the AVID coordinator and elective teacher here at Seabreeze High School. I really work on relationship with my students. I want to create a haven for them to come to me with celebrations, to share about sadness or struggles in their everyday lives. And there's lots of love here. What I hope that they will take away from this is to be good human beings, to be people who care about others. When the students walk through my door, they walk not only into my classroom, but they walk into my heart.
Well, we wanted to focus on beautification of our school, so we wanted to see how we could do that, and we thought about the reusing and recycling of the bottle caps, and we decided to do a bottle cap mural. The process that we went through is collecting all the bottle caps, and then we designed a picture and put it on the 16-foot piece of plywood and was able to paint the design on it. After that, the students were able to glue all the caps on color by color. The image came from because we are the Eagles, and we wanted something to demonstrate how they are soaring through creativity. The kids really like to be involved in art at Horizon, and I think that they all took a lot of pride in this project. All the students come in every day, and they all feel like they were part of it because either they collected, they painted, or they actually glued the bottle caps on.
Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram was honored to give a teacher, an art teacher, Ms. Robin DeCamp, a 2-year lease of a 2017 Jeep Renegade. We're very honored to be able to do this for this teacher. She's more than well deserving, and we're very excited that we were able to help her out.
Ms. DeCamp won a new car! She won a car for 2 years!
We did a drawing for 5 consecutive days, and in drawing we drew 5 names every day, and then towards the very end, 1 teacher was selected. We are very appreciative of all of our teachers. All of our educators never get thanked enough, so for this week and for many more days, we would like to thank all of you for everything that you do for all of our youth.
It's a great big thank you to the dealership and to the district.
And I love the new car.
recognize people who do a great job. We have the district and the school-based Superintendent Outstanding Award winner, and we also get to recognize the elementary principal of the year and the secondary principal of the year. What a send-off for the summer. Ms. Berry, I just want to give the Superintendent's Outstanding Achievement Award to you this year. I know that you've been here at the school since it's open.
Yes, I have.
And Jen Williams has told us that you are her right, left hand, and you do quite a bit here. We appreciate it, and I know the faculty and the staff appreciate you.
I love it. So I want to congratulate you. We all know who does the real work around here, right?
I would like to present you with this little token of our appreciation. We really appreciate all that you do for our students every day.
Thank you all very much. I wouldn't trade a single second.
What is it about this school? You had the counselor of the year, the first-year teacher of the year, the principal of the year. Your students achieve at a high level across the district, so there's magic going on here.
Thank you.
And it always goes back to the leader.
She's just an amazing person, and I'm so happy that you are our elementary principal of the year. Couldn't happen to a nicer, sweeter person. Love you.
It is a pleasure to be here, and it is an honor to represent principals in Volusia County and any educator in Volusia County. It is the best place to be. So go Team Volusia!
Imaginative principals that we have, and this school has just rocketed it. Since she's been here, I'm so proud of this school, and then I'm so proud of Patty Corin. Isn't she well deserving of this?
We recognize this isn't just her, it takes the team, but boy is she a rock star.
I would never be standing here if it wasn't for each and every one of you. You know that. And I just hope that I'm worthy of being your leader, and I've done you proud. And this is a great day for Galaxy Middle School. Absolutely.
I can tell everybody in the planning department, this is one of the busiest ladies that I see. She is always here. She always does a great job. I cannot think of a better district employee to receive the Superintendent's Outstanding Award.
Thank you.
Thank everybody. I have loved all of my time working here. I told Sarah Lee she was not allowed to retire until I did, because I wasn't working for anybody else. And so just thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
None of this would be possible without the support that we get from the Futures Foundation. Once again, they prove to us they support our students, our schools, our administrators and staff.
Thank you, Futures.
Hi, my name is Hanya Ahmed, and I'm a senior at DeLand High School. It's important to try to use the influence that you have to support other people.
So today marked the official groundbreaking for construction of Pearson Elementary Replacement School. And yeah, it's somewhat of a symbolic act. We had everyone here. We had an incredible turnout. So this is a way to formally kick off the actual construction of our new school.
This school is just a model for 21st century learning. It's going to be just an exciting space for our kids to come into, and I can't wait to see their faces when they enter this building for the first time. The interior design of the school is flexible and just made and designed for education.
Hi, my name is Lynn Sieber. I'm the AVID coordinator and elective teacher here at Seabreeze High School. I really work on relationship with my students. I want to create a haven for them to come to me with celebrations, to share about sadness or struggles in their everyday lives. And there's lots of love here. What I hope that they will take away from this is to be good human beings, to be people who care about others. When the students walk through my door, they walk not only into my classroom, but they walk into my heart.
Well, we wanted to focus on beautification of our school, so we wanted to see how we could do that, and we thought about the reusing and recycling of the bottle caps, and we decided to do a bottle cap mural. The process that we went through is collecting all the bottle caps, and then we designed a picture and put it on the 16-foot piece of plywood and was able to paint the design on it. After that, the students were able to glue all the caps on color by color. The image came from because we are the Eagles, and we wanted something to demonstrate how they are soaring through creativity. The kids really like to be involved in art at Horizon, and I think that they all took a lot of pride in this project. All the students come in every day, and they all feel like they were a part of it because either they collected, they painted, or they actually glued the bottle caps on.
Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram was honored to give a teacher, an art teacher, Ms. Robin DeCamp, a 2-year lease of a 2017 Jeep Renegade. We're very honored to be able to do this for this teacher. She's more than well deserving, and we're very excited that we were able to help her out.
Mr. Kemp won a new car! She won a car for 2 years!
We did a drawing for 5 consecutive days, and in drawing we drew 5 names every day, and then towards the very end, 1 teacher was selected. We are very appreciative of all of our teachers. All of our educators never get thanked enough, so for this week and for many more days, we would like to thank all of you for everything that you do for all of our youth.
It's a great big thank you to the dealership and to the district.
And I love the new car.
Today we get to recognize people who do a great job. We have the district and the school-based Superintendent Outstanding Award winner, and we also get to recognize the Elementary Principal of the Year and the Secondary Principal of the Year. What a send-off for the summer. Ms. Berry, I just want to give the Superintendent's Outstanding Achievement Award to you this year. I know that you've been here at the school since it's opened.
Yes, I have.
And Jen Williams has told us that you are her right, left hand, and you do quite a bit here. We appreciate it, and I know the faculty and the staff appreciate you.
I love it. So I want to congratulate you. We all know who does the real work around here, right?
I would like to present you with this little token of our appreciation. We really appreciate all that you do for our students every day.
Thank you all very much. I wouldn't trade a single second.
What is it about this school? You had the counselor of the year, the first year teacher of the year, the principal of the year. Your students achieve at a high level across the district, so there's magic going on here.
Thank you.
And it always goes back to the leader.
She's just an amazing person, and I'm so happy that you are our elementary principal of the year. Couldn't happen to a nicer, sweeter person. Love you.
It is a pleasure to be here, and it is an honor to represent principals in Volusia County and any educator in Volusia County. It is the best place to be. So go Team Volusia!
Imaginative principals that we have, and this school has just rocketed it. Since she's been here, I'm so proud of this school, and then I'm so proud of Patty Corin. Isn't she well deserving of this?
We recognize this isn't just her, it takes the team, but boy is she a rock star.
I would never be standing here if it wasn't for each and every one of you. You know that. And I just hope that I'm worthy of being your leader, and I've done you proud. And this is a great day for Galaxy Middle School. Absolutely.
I can tell everybody in the planning department, this is one of the busiest ladies that I see. She is always here. She always does a great job. I cannot think of a better district employee to receive the Superintendent's Outstanding Award.
I thank everybody. I have loved all of my time working here. I told Sarah Lee she was not allowed to retire until I did, because I wasn't working for anybody else. And so just thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
None of this would be possible without the support that we get from the Futures Foundation. Once again, they prove to us they support our students, our schools, our administrators and staff. Thank you, Futures.
Hi, my name is Hanya Ahmed, and I'm a senior at DeLand High School. It's important to try to use the influence that you have to support other people.
So today marked the official groundbreaking for construction of Pearson Elementary Replacement School. And yeah, it's somewhat of a symbolic act. We had everyone here. We had an incredible turnout. So this is a way to formally kick off the actual construction of our new school.
This school is just a model for 21st century learning. It's going to be just an exciting space for our kids to come into, and I can't wait to see their faces when they enter this building for the first time. The interior design of the school is flexible and just made and designed for education.
Hi, my name is Lynn Sieber. I'm the AVID coordinator and elective teacher here at Seabreeze High School. I really work on relationship with my students. I want to create a haven for them to come to me with celebrations, to share about sadness or struggles in their everyday lives. And there's lots of love here. What I hope that they will take away from this is to be good human beings, to be people who care about others. When the students walk through my door, they walk not only into my classroom, but they walk into my heart.
Well, we wanted to focus on beautification of our school, so we wanted to see how we could do that, and we thought about the reusing and recycling of the bottle caps, and we decided to do a bottle cap mural. The process that we went through is collecting all the bottle caps, and then we designed a picture and put it on the 16-foot piece of plywood and was able to paint the design on it. After that, the students were able to glue all the caps on color by color. The image came from because we are the Eagles, and we wanted something to demonstrate how they are soaring through creativity. The kids really like to be involved in art at Horizon, and I think that they all took a lot of pride in this project. All the students come in every day, and they all feel like they were part of it because either they collected, they painted, or they actually glued the bottle caps on.
Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram was honored to give a teacher, an art teacher, Ms. Robin DeCamp, a 2-year lease of a 2017 Jeep Renegade. We're very honored to be able to do this for this teacher. She's more than well deserving, and we're very excited that we were able to help her out.
Ms. DeCamp won a new car! She won a car for 2 years!
We did a drawing for 5 consecutive days, and in drawing we drew 5 names every day, and then towards the very end, 1 teacher was selected. We are very appreciative of all of our teachers. All of our educators never get thanked enough, so for this week and for many more days, we would like to thank all of you for everything that you
On this afternoon for our budget workshop. Let me introduce our panel up here. Dr. Hill from District 1. Next to him is our school board attorney, Ted Doran. On my right is Ms. Connie Wines, who is our agency clerk. And sitting on her left is Carl Persis from District 4. And of course, the most famous of all, our superintendent, Mr. Russell. I am filling in for Ms. Johnson, who is absent today, and then also Ms. Wright will be here shortly. She's running just a tad late. It's the storm. So, Mr. Russell, I believe first item on our agenda is the budget calendar.
Thank you. This presentation will be made by Ms. Deb Muller, our Chief Financial Officer.
Good afternoon, Madam Vice Chair and board members, Mr. Russell. Today we will be bringing you updated information on our budget and those other items associated with the development of that. First of all, we have the budget calendar, just to let you know where we are at and where we are going. Currently today we have the budget workshop, and then we will be bringing you permission at the next meeting to advertise and the millage rates and the tentative budget, and also to allow spending between July 1st and our tentative public hearing. And then on June 27th, we will ask you to approve the budget, the tentative budget, and the millage. And then on July 25th, have the public hearing and adoption of the tentative budget and millage rates. And that takes us into September, when we have the public hearing and adoption of the final budget. And I know there was a lot of flurry about a week or so ago when the governor called the legislature back to Tallahassee after he vetoed the FEFP education budget for K through 12 spending after a call from around the state by educators and associations to increase the funding for public schools. And before the actual session started, the House and the Senate both introduced their own bills that had two different amounts of FEFP in it. And we did have the details from House Bill 3A, which proposed a $100 per student FTE increase in funding overall statewide. The Senate bill was introduced, but we never had a breakdown as to what we would receive from that. And eventually, during negotiations, the House Bill 3A was accepted by the Senate, and that's the one that was subsequently voted into law. That added $215 million to the FEFP budget, and it also, although statewide the taxable values are increasing, one of the Senate's or the House priorities was to not increase the required local effort, which is that's determined by the legislature and is what we have to levy And they did not want to increase taxes based on the large growth in taxable values across the state. They also, as I had said, increased the total funding by $100, which was a 1.39% increase statewide. This is a snapshot of that total budget statewide. You can see in the funding components that the unweighted FTE statewide increased by about almost 24,000 students. And you see the school taxable values increasing statewide of over $128 billion. But then below that, the RLE millage, in this circle here, you can see that they decreased that by 6.94% so that it would not generate any taxes. And then they also proposed an increase in the base student allocation of $43.24, and that's over the 2016-17 fourth calculation. You can see here this base funding, which is what school districts had been asking for an increase in, which is a component, which has BSA as a component, asking for that increase because that's our most flexible funding and doesn't tie us to specific categories. You can see total state funding here increased by 3.22%. And then you can see the calculation in the decrease in required local effort, decreased $1.5 million across the state, but the discretionary local effort of 0.748, that is the maximum that school boards can levy on their own. And you can see that that's driving a $92 million increase across the state in taxes. But again, that's not determined by the state, that is determined by the local school boards. And then down below on this last section is the 7,196.23 on the left column. That's the per student funding for 2015-16 or 2016-17 fourth calc, and then the 7,296 is the per student funding for 17-18, which results in a $100 per student increase across the state. And you have there Artifact 1 in your packet. And just a couple of things that I just wanted to draw to your attention there is this is basically the same components at a local level, where you can see the 2016-17 fourth calculation and our unweighted students. And if you go across, you can see in the third column the 17-18 number of students, where we're growing by approximately 401 students. Then you can also see down where the base student allocation is, and under that the district cost differential, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And then the increase in Volusia's school taxable values of almost $2.5 million, which again, under the required local effort, will not result in an increase in taxes collected, but under the discretionary it will. And our base funding will increase a little bit over $3 million. Our class size reduction amounts down towards the bottom will be decreasing by about $220,000. And then below there, you'll see all of the total fundings, and then the budgeted funding per student, which is our overall funding. And I have some other slides which will show you this broken down. So you can see this first slide is the base student allocation. So fourth calc, it was $4,160.71. The conference budget, which is the one that the governor vetoed, decreased the BSA to $4,133.64. And then when the House bill was passed, it increased it up to $4,203.95. And then when you take our calculation for base funding, as I had mentioned, under the conference bill, our base funding would have actually decreased by over $1.5 million. It's now increasing by just a little over $3 million. That increase for us, though, is only about 1.12% as compared to the statewide average, which is 2.36%. So again, that just points out with the DCD that even though we have students that are, we're increasing in our students, we're still getting less because we're harmed by that DCD number, so we'll receive less than the statewide average. This one just shows the differences in the required local effort as compared to the fourth calc. So it was 4.6 in this year, and then conference decreased it to 4.278, and then it decreased even farther to 4.272. So our total funding, last time I presented this information to you, we had the conference budget, and we were receiving $840,000 total in new funding. For next year now with House Bill 3A, we're going to receive about $5.4 million. So certainly that is good news as far as our budget is concerned, because if you remember, we were looking at a $7 million budget deficit when we started working on our tentative budget. But again, that $5.4 million is about 1.25% increase versus the statewide average of 1.39%. And where you can really see that we fall behind is in this per student funding. Our fourth calculation per student funding this year was $6,972. And it will increase to $7,115 next year, which is an increase of $42.19. But statewide, what the governor was proposing was $100 per student FTE. So because of the calculations that take place, including the DCD, we actually fall more than half short in that category of total per student funding for next year. This slide just gives you an overall picture of the difference between the local funding and the total state and local funding. And again, you can see that $42.19 increase between next year under House Bill 3A and with our fourth calculation. And I know that you've seen this before, but it has been updated just to illustrate again that our total per student funding falls below the statewide average because we are receiving less than $1 that we collect and send to Tallahassee based on our funding formula because of the DCD. And we've been harping on for a long time that the base student allocation was still below what we were seeing pre-recession. You can see on the left there the $4,163.47, which now for the first time will be over that mark at $4,203.95. However, the other thing that we've been saying is that's our most flexible funding, and that does not take into account our inflationary increases that we face every year. Based on the price of gasoline, fuel, electric, all those contract increases when we negotiate because people are increasing their costs, and also raises for our employees, benefit increases. One of the big ones was FRS this year, which the legislature also increased that rate, resulting in over $1 million additional costs for the district.
Ms. Mueller?
Yes.
Pardon me. Wouldn't also a factor be in that 07, 08? Also, what was the DCD in that year? I mean, did we receive more, was it higher than what it is now? That too would have an effect on that, wouldn't it?
Let's see. The DCD in 2007-08 was 0.9605, so it was a little bit higher. But this is strictly the base student funding. But you're right that multiplying that times our weighted FTE and the BSA, yes, it would decrease the amount that Volusia would receive as well.
Okay, thank you.
So if we were to factor in the 17.5% inflation that we've seen on the national average between 2008 and 2018, we would have to be receiving $4,892 per student to just be at a break even. So although, you know, we are very happy that the BSA is increased for next year, our funding is still falling short to keep up with inflation.
Could you repeat that number again?
Yes, it's right there at the top in this green box, the $4,892.08.
Thank you, sorry.
This is the history of the required local effort and tax roll in Volusia County. You can see that our millage rates have been decreasing. And again, this is what the legislature sets, and the figure that they've chosen to decrease for next year. So although we have a 7.64% increase in our taxable values on our tax roll, the RLE will not, we will not levy additional taxes based on that RLE and that growth. And this was the one that popped up before that shows the DCD, and you can see that it increased to a high back in 2015 and has declined for the last 3 years, including this year. We had quite a significant drop, and although it's percentage, or it's a small percentage, it really does affect our calculations. And as you can see, this is the list of the DCD and the total loss that Volusia has experienced due to that small incremental change every year. So over $140 million since 2004 when the latest formula was introduced. And at the same time, you can see that our free and reduced lunch percent has increased from 40% all the way up to 65% this year. So we, while growing substantially poorer from that standpoint, and the students that we know are impoverished, that they need additional support, and they may not have the exposure and experiences that other students have, this DCD only further hurts our educational programs. If you apply that DCD loss of $11 million just for this year to the number of FTE students we have for next year, it's over $175 per student that we're losing in Volusia. This shows you some of the other winners and losers, so to speak, across the state. For the dollars that Volusia gives back, the $140 million, some of these other districts are substantial winners. You can see in Broward, Collier, Duval, and Miami-Dade, Palm Beach are all profiting from the DCD funding formula at the expense of these other districts that have lost substantial amounts of money over that time. And we were very hopeful because there was a DCD bill that was introduced by our representatives that was vetoed with the governor's bill when the governor vetoed the FEFP funding. He also vetoed that bill. This next section, I'm updating you on the general fund budget reconciliation and where we are at that, and also our staff positions and our projected fund balances that we have been working on, and it looks a little bit better, thankfully, because of, has a lot to do with the additional money that we'll be receiving. But we've also identified some cost savings, which will certainly help as well. So some changes district-wide is the 2.5% average raises for employees that were negotiated of $8 million. The, as I mentioned, the FRS retirement rate increase of 1.1 million. We have contracted services increases of 340,000, and then department position increases, and some of those positions were a result of being added this year after budget adoption, and then some are proposed for next year. And I have some information later on in a slide on that. There are also some requested department non-salary increases of 830,000. And just to let you know, these departments and the positions and the non-salary includes our central offices, but it also includes maintenance and transportation, facilities planning, and instructional services. And then also we have, because our charter schools, although they haven't necessarily requested an increase in enrollment for next year, when we receive additional FEFP, we have to give them their portion of that FTE. So we'll have to give them another 190,000. Catapult, the closing of that program, the termination of the contract, will save us almost $600,000. And we have utility cost increases of 200,000 and copying equipment charges of 210,000. That is actually covered from a transfer to from capital, because those are leases that are paid for out of the capital fund. So those additional projected costs result in an additional $10,008.86 costs. And then on this next slide, we break down the school cost changes. So we have a decrease in costs under class size compliance changes. We have schools non-salary changes, a small amount. Then the adjustments to categorical monies that we get designated for school recognition, lottery, and CAPE funding changes. There's a decrease of $950,000 on that. And then the negotiated elimination of class load supplements for those teachers that are have additional students in their class. There's a $220,000 savings under that. We have additional $100,000 set aside for Aim High initiatives, and that reflects a net savings at the schools of $5.09 million. Other cost changes, we have additional health insurance savings. Part of this is a result of the proposed rate decrease to our health insurance plans. And the other portion of it is that we've seen a reduction of about 400 employees that have not taken the insurance this year. So we project that we'll continue to save a little over $3.5 million there. We have teacher retirement savings of $3.1 million. And then, as we noted before, we had a staffing intervention because of the projected enrollment increase. This year, we had set aside money for adding additional teaching units as needed, and there was $1.66 million returned from that. We have other categoricals and projects, just a cumulative amount of $240,000. And then this year, we saw that the raises that we budgeted for as a result of negotiations were less than what we had projected. So we have a savings there of $1.8 million. And that's really spread over many different areas, but specifically because one of the reasons was in VESA that they jumped 3 steps And not everybody was eligible to move. So although we projected that when we calculated everything, not everybody was eligible. And then we also had many retirements, so the raises there came in under budget. So we have other net savings of $10,380,000. And to recap that, it brings our remaining deficit down to $2.42 million, which again is substantially better than the $7 million, which I had to bring to you at the last meeting. This next section are the staff position requests, and this is our ERP backfill plan. We don't have an SIS backfill plan yet, but what these are positions that we have to add as temporary positions for next year. And what will happen is the permanent employees that are designated to work on the ERP implementation, because they will be working, some of them up to 40 hours per week after we start implementation, they will be working on that project. So their time and effort will be tracked, and that will be charged back to the capital project for ERP. And that is something that is allowed under our capital, under the rules for our capital projects under the sales tax. So there will be an offset to the cost here, and it will have no effect on the general fund at all. And these are positions that we anticipate will have for at least 2 years, depending on the progression of the ERP project. And these are department position requests for next year. These are general fund only. We have the additional area superintendent, and that is net of 2.0 principal on assignments positions that we had positions principals retiring in the middle of the year, so they were on special assignments until they retired. We have the addition of legal counsel and an office specialist 3. Under instructional services, we have the addition of a resource teacher in science. And then under operations services, we have a maintenance coordinator and a maintenance supervisor, and also a maintenance office specialist. And this is a result of what you heard with the capital projects and the number of them, and us trying to keep up with all of those projects that we have going. And these are not funds that can be charged to capital. These are strictly general fund. The difference there is if they are operating, then they have to be charged to general fund, versus if they are strictly capital positions, then in doing capital work, they can be charged to capital. We also have a 0.5 under the planning department, who also will be moved to capital, that salary portion. And then in technology services and innovation, there's a merge of 2 current positions into 1 position. And then there were 3 office specialists, maintenance, technology services, and purchasing. And those specifically are to address the increased workload. A lot of these positions were eliminated during the recession, and people were sharing office specialists. But now that we've added back some staff, they also need the support. And purchasing, especially with the amount of purchasing that we're doing for our capital projects and with the ERP, that they need additional support there. I just wanted to go back to this one also to point out that the legal counsel and the office specialist, although those are being added, there is no no increase to the general fund budget because we're reducing the outside contractual services due to the workload. They'll be taking over some of those cases that we have been handling outside with contracted legal services. So there's no effect there on the budget. And then I want to take you to what we're looking at, the projected fund balance. This first line is the total fund balance. You can see where we were at for fiscal year 15. We had $32.7 million through the hard work and purposeful savings in fiscal year 16. That fund balance increased to $44.1 million. And then for fiscal year 17, the projected decreases to $36.2 million. And the majority of that, of course, is due to the loss of the $7.5 million in FEFP as a result of our enrollment projections not being met. Bonuses that were paid to employees under the negotiated contracts, our catapult contract increase, we saw a $600,000 increase there. And then it's net of increased health insurance savings, additional lottery funds that we received, $500,000 in additional property taxes and various other savings. What that does to the unassigned fund balance, in 2015, it was $14.4 million, which was 3.36% of revenue. Under the end of the year for fiscal year 16, that unassigned went down to 23.2, or I'm sorry, increased to 23.2 for 5.12% of revenue. The projection right now, and again, we're at the end, we're into June, but we're finishing up our May financial statements, and until all of the year-end projections are finalized and all of the retirements processed and so on, and all the year-end entries, we're projecting $19.4 million for the unassigned fund balance. Now that includes that $2.42 million deficit. So if we were to balance the budget with that $2.42 million from fund balance, it would reduce the unassigned by that amount and would bring it down to 4.32% of revenue. And then, of course, we still have some concerns, some other areas that we're still looking at before we bring to you the tentative budget in July. One of them, of course, is the enrollment projection. Again, that's projected to increase about 401 FTE students. We don't think that, that our projection will be that it's conservative. We think it's conservative, but we don't know what the kindergarten enrollment will bring yet. We're waiting on that. And also, we're still hiring teachers, and we're still looking at where those classes will come in, because when you have your student growth, you don't know exactly where they will fall. Where will they end up in, a fourth grade class or a kindergarten class or in the high school? And so you have to adjust your staffing based on that. And that, coupled with class size compliance and continuing to look to make sure that we are in compliance with class size, where we've already begun meeting every Tuesday morning to review some of the concerns that principals are seeing and evaluating those. However, at this point in time, they don't actually have their schedules done, especially in the elementary. They're not working on their scheduling yet. It's the high schools and middle schools that are starting to fill up their classes with their schedules. So we have not set aside, excuse me, we have not set aside additional funds yet for teaching units, and that will become clearer as we progress through the summer. And also our school resource officers, we've received a tentative increase from Volusia County, from the Sheriff's Department. excuse me, but we are still looking at that and negotiating with them. So we do not have a contract in place at this time. Also, again, keeping track and seeing what our 2016-17 fund balance looks like as we start to reconcile our year-end balances. And then for next year, of course, we would be concerned about any proration to the appropriation. And this year, we did receive a small proration, but again, we don't know that until our fourth calculation. So, you know, we like to set aside money. Last year, we had $500,000 initially set aside, and we cut that out because we were trying to balance the budget. So we were lucky that it was a small amount, but we don't have anything set aside for that at this point. And at that, I'll leave it open to you for questions and discussion.
Does the board have any questions? Mr. Pierce?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for all the detail and going through everything. It's a moving target, and I hope it continues to move, but we'll see. In regard to one of your slides, I was having trouble making sense of it, and I don't know. I'm looking at the one, I don't know how, they're not number, oh, yes, they are. Okay, number 14.
You can go ahead.
Number 15, actually.
15. Numbers are small.
We're getting there.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
I think this is the one. we're looking
Okay,
at.
so I'm looking at it, and you see it says you draw an arrow from the top, the 6,97287, to the bottom there, 4219. But that's really not $42.19. It's only around, am I reading that right, 472?
What happened is in the fourth calc, the 6972, and then in the conference, it actually decreased by $31.17.
Got it.
Okay, so that's when the legislature had passed the bill that decreased the BSA. But then the difference there is the 7,115 from the 6972. So, and again, it's sort of hard to bring this. We had many iterations of this budget presentation because we had the conference, we had the House bill, the Senate bill, and then the final. So the reason why we show it to you this way is because that's the way the state presents it. They actually compare it to the fourth calculation and not to from the conference to the House Bill 3A.
I see.
So it is confusing and
yeah. But thank you for that. And so, so the state's getting a 1.39 statewide average, and we're getting a 1.25. Is that what you said?
Yes.
And you said that the state was predicting to get $100 extra per unweighted FTE.
Yes.
And while that's what others will get, that we're going to get that $42, is that what you're saying?
That's the average across the state is the $100, and that's when you hear the governor and the legislature talk about adding that $215 million to the budget. That's what it breaks down to statewide, but again, some districts receive more, some districts receive less.
I guess what's hard for people to understand is when they think of our DCD as 96%, 97%, and then they would think, well, if everyone else is going to get $100 more, then we're going to get $96 more.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's not the way it works. We're ending up with $2 more. Is that what you're
Right,
saying?
and it's, part of it is the DCD, and part of it is the, where the DCD and the FTE is used in other formulas and categoricals as well. If you looked on the handout that I gave you, there was a $220,000 in class size reduction aid as well. So there are all those different categoricals that some are increases and some are decreases. And there are other FTE calculations that go into those as well. Some of them are just base amounts that every district receives, and then, you know, based on the size, you may receive a certain amount. But yes, overall, even though we have 400 more students, next year we are receiving less than the statewide average.
Yeah, I just strike it, to me, it's pretty sad that we have to be cheering for a 1.39% increase, and I guess be grateful we're getting a 1.25% increase. I mean, it's just pathetic.
Understood.
The other point is, do you know offhand in House Bill 7069, how much money is in that bill for the Schools of Hope?
I believe, I don't know if it was changed, but I believe they set aside for charters, was it 200 million?
200 million. And wasn't there also another 200 million in House Bill 7069 set aside for the Best and Brightest program?
There was, yes, there was a lot of money set aside for that as well.
So the governor, in his actions recently, were able to get another 200 million, 215 million thrown in generally to the student-based allocation amount, which added $100 per student. So I'm just looking at, here's 200 million going to the Best and Brightest program, which is another bogus bonus program that the state has, that hasn't proved to do anybody any good except give those individuals more money. Not so much that's related to student achievement, but it's given them more money. And then the Schools of Hope, which isn't anywhere. So there's $400 million right there that could serve all the students in Florida, that right now, if it is not vetoed, is going to be tied up and benefit very, very few students in the state of Florida. So it'll be very interesting to see what the governor does. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Hill?
Do you have any idea, I mean, we get the same funding for students enrolled in Volusia Virtual?
Again, that's a formula, but it's also based on, I believe it uses the same BSA, but we also have to have completions. Mm-hmm. So it's not just those enrolled, but they actually have to complete the course. So that's something that we do not find out until the end of the year.
For the total per student funding amount? So we get the base student allocation.
Right.
So what number of students do we have currently, or have we had historically in Volusia Virtual?
I do not have that information, but I can get that for you.
Okay. You mentioned the increase in free and reduced lunch students, and you showed the slide here. Number 21. So what effect does having a higher Title I amount cause in federal dollars?
Well, excuse me, certainly we would receive more Title I dollars with a higher poverty level.
Can you give the board an understanding of what the difference it would be from 2004 to 2018 or 17?
What the increase in Title I funding would be? I can find that out as well.
Okay. And then the charter schools across the district, that they get the same per student funding?
They don't exactly, because there's a calculation. Some of them are contract schools, some of them are charters. And we have a calculation that we go through based on their verified FTE. And then we have a percentage that we keep as an administrative fee as well. So that calculation is done with every survey, and it's also paid monthly and then adjusted as necessary.
So if we were to assume an average, would we say they get 5,000, if they're not a contracted school, a freestanding charter, would they get 5,000 a year per student, 6,000?
Well, we would keep, I would say in general, the 5% administrative fee. I don't know, do you know stuff like that? Okay. So we can get that information on what they actually get.
So let's just use a round number and say that they get $6,000 a year in state funding and local effort funding. Where does the general public get a sense of how much money they actually generate in revenue?
From us specifically, or you mean in total, their revenue, their total revenue?
I mean, in terms of their books, right? So they get money from the state, they get money
Right.
from local, and now they've been proposed to get more money in this current budget. How does the general public understand how much money they actually spend to educate their students?
Well, we do have, they have audits every year that we have on file that are posted on our website that somebody could look at if they wanted to, see what their actual income, revenue and their expenditures were.
And what have those been historically?
What have they been dollar-wise? I would have to look because they're all different.
Are they profitable?
For the most part, it depends on the school. I mean, we had, Richard Milburn Middle School. That one was not profitable. So that one was closed. But it is something that, we bring, that was one of the requirements by the state, is to bring those audits forward to the board for acceptance, not approval, but acceptance. So they're filed with us every year.
And the audit spells out their complete expenses, detailed, as well as what their receivables.
Yeah, they're financial statements.
So it's a financial statement by them, or it's an actual?
Audited financial statements.
Okay. So if we look at this number that you put on the board, we're getting $7,015.06, although some of that is tied up in restrictions or requirements, but the base student allocation is a percentage of that. The rest is local effort, and then that does not encompass if a student is Title I as to what additionally we may receive from federal dollars.
Right, that's correct.
That's all I have.
This is just the FEFP.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hill.
Thank you.
Mrs. Wright? Okay, I have two questions, and for time, they'll be very brief. Do we ever send our budget, for example, you're setting all this up for us, can we send this to our legislators?
Yes, absolutely. It will be on board docs.
We'll send it to all of you
And-
tomorrow, this presentation.
Yes, I would like it also to be sent to our legislators, so they understand the repercussions of their vote. And also, now that the budget has been established, so that means we can make payroll on July 1st? Correct?
Well, we'll actually bring that to you on June 27th for your
Okay.
approval to allow us to spend
Oh,
on
okay.
July 1st.
All right, and then raises are in effect 7/1?
Yes, that is correct. However, because teachers and principals and assistant principals, those are based on performance pay under state statute. So until we find out what the scores are, those will be retroactive to July 1st, but they won't be calculated until sometime in the fall when we receive them.
Okay, and for clarification, when do we receive our first payment from the state for funding?
I believe we receive that in July. We receive monthly payments.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well, do we have update on special legislating?
Could I ask another question? Sure. Could you repeat again how much a 1% raise costs? $3 million across.
It's just about $3 million across the district.
It costs $3 million, and we are committed to give how much this time?
2.5, $8 million.
So that's $8 million.
Yes.
I guess what I'm having a hard time wrapping my arms around is if we are receiving more money next year than this year. And what was that total amount?
A little over $5 million.
So, and we are saving with the health insurance,
Yes,
right?
that's
And is
correct.
all that savings going back to the employees, or is the district going to encumber that savings?
For the health insurance, the majority of the savings will go back to employees for health insurance. Because we have the cap that the board pays, all of the premiums except for the point of service are over that $531 cap. So the board will see a little bit of savings, about $260,000 is projected, and that's based on our enrollment this year. But over $1.5 million will be going back to employees. So those employees that are on the HMO and on the triple option plans will actually see a decrease in what they pay next year per pay period.
So we're getting $5 million more, and we are putting out $8 million more just in raises.
Yes.
How much money did we save by reducing the teaching staff?
Net, we saved about $4 million. But again, we still have, class size reviews as we go. We've already added about 1.4 million back. That's net in that 4.01 million. But that's about what we've saved before any additional staffing changes.
It just seems like those numbers are relatively close. 4 and 5 is 9, $8 million for the raise. And yet when I looked at your fund balance, unassigned fund balance and others, those seem to change by a great deal, not just by 1 million or 2 million. I don't understand where they're.
This year,
I know we had to hire some temporary staff and that.
Right, let me go back to last year when we did not pay raises. We had we had the history of every time we paid raises, we hadn't budgeted for them, so they were paid out of fund balance. So that would reduce the fund balance every year. Last year we did not pay raises, so our fund balance increased, our unassigned. And then this year, of course, we paid more raises than we actually saved by the change in health insurance, but we had budgeted for that. And then we had additional savings because we had less employees enrolled in health insurance.
I don't want to take up more time, and I can ask you privately. I just hope that we didn't overreact with the way the budget was coming down the pike from the state, and in our reduction of so many teachers. That's my concern. That, you know, it's all about student achievement. It's all about having the right teachers, enough teachers, you know, I just don't know whether we needed to cut that many teachers. And not that that's a finite number or it's carved in stone. As you see needs, you can always add them back in.
That's what we're doing.
And I'm sure that's what's happening now in the summer as you get calls from principals and saying, this isn't going to work. I know I have 60 in my non-core classes.
Well, we didn't change the formula for non-core at all.
Yeah, I know, but it was never good. So let's not brag about our non-core student ratio. That's nothing to be.
Well, not that I'm bragging. I just wanted to make sure that you understood that.
I understand it very well. Trust me. So I don't think we should balance the books. All I'm saying is to make it look good by reducing teaching staff. I just don't want to see those class sizes creep up, and I don't want to see an overload on the classes that are being taught by the teachers that are not covered by the class size amendment, which is what non-core is. So just want to bring that to your attention.
Yeah, and we certainly understand that. And what the change in the formula would, in effect, if you had one teaching staff unit, the formula was, say, 18 and a half, and it went up to 19 and a half. So they would have one more student in that class for that teacher. But the other thing that, when I pointed out we had money left over from our staffing intervention for this year, because we had projected such a high enrollment, and we had, based on the formulas last year, we had allocated too many teachers to many schools. And as we started meeting as class size committee, we saw that the enrollments were much lower than projected. So we pulled back some of those teaching units, which is what we would normally do, or add teaching units depending on how it falls. But in some of those schools, especially the most at-risk schools, if they were close, we did not pull them back in order to not disrupt kids. But as a result, a lot of those classes, like at the primary level and the intermediate, had very small class sizes, way below what would have been staffed on the formula. So some of that correction is happening in next year's budget. So that's why that's one of the things that we do have to watch very closely, because you know, some of the principals, if you speak with them, you will hear them say that, yes, I had smaller than expected class sizes this year. I had extra teachers from what I really needed.
Again, and who benefited from that? The students did. And so, you know, if some class sizes were out there that were very small, then that's great. When those class sizes go up and when you get them way up there, like some of these non-cores are, they're going to have discipline issues, over-discipline issue, and that has a ripple effect throughout the school and throughout the teaching staff and administrative staff. These are all things that don't show up in slides, but that's what's happening out in the real world, and we just have to make ourselves aware of it. It's not just dollar and cents, it's what's going on out there, what are the teachers dealing with each and every day. That's what matters.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you.
I do have enrollment numbers for Volusia Virtual Doctor. Full-time students were 107 last school year. Part-time users for course enrollment, not total students, but 3,200 total courses taken and completed. You know, for those students that were taking it part-time. So we're paid on completion.
Okay.
Anything else,
No,
Mr.
ma'am.
Russell?
I do, yes, I do want to thank Ms. Muller and the entire finance department. I know the governor signed this one Friday, and
Yes.
they've been working over the weekend to prepare these documents, and I do appreciate your time and effort pulling this together. Thank you.
Okay. With that, we're adjourned. We'll see you at 5:30.
Thank you.
I can tell, she is always here, she always does a great job. I cannot think of a better district employee to receive the Superintendent Outstanding Award.
I thank everybody. I have loved all of my time working here. I told Sarah Lee she was not allowed to retire until I did, because I wasn't working for anybody else. And so just thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
None of this would be possible without the support that we get from the Futures Foundation. Once again, they prove to us they support our students, our schools, our administrators and staff. Thank you, Futures.
Hi, my name is Hanya Ahmed, and I'm a senior at DeLand High School. It's important to try to use the influence that you have to support other people.
So today marked the official groundbreaking for construction of Pearson Elementary Replacement School. And yeah, it's somewhat of a symbolic act. We had everyone here. We had an incredible turnout. So this is a way to formally kick off the actual construction of our new school.
This school is just a model for 21st century learning. It's going to be just an exciting space for our kids to come into, and I can't wait to see their faces when they enter this building for the first time. The interior design of the school is flexible and just made and designed for education.
Hi, my name is Lynn Sieber. I'm the AVID coordinator and elective teacher here at Seabreeze High School. I really work on relationship with my students. I want to create a haven for them to come to me with celebrations, to share about sadness or struggles in their everyday lives. And there's lots of love here. What I hope that they will take away from this is to be good human beings, to be people who care about others. When the students walk through my door, they walk not only into my classroom, but they walk into my heart.
Well, we wanted to focus on beautification of our school, so we wanted to see how we could do that, and we thought about the reusing and recycling of the bottle caps, and we decided to do a bottle cap mural. The process that we went through is collecting all the bottle caps, and then we designed a picture and put it on the 16-foot piece of plywood and was able to paint the design on it. After that, the students were able to glue all the caps on color by color. The image came from because we are the Eagles, and we wanted something to demonstrate how they are soaring through creativity. The kids really like to be involved in art at Horizon, and I think that they all took a lot of pride in this project. All the students come in every day, and they all feel like they were a part of it because either they collected, they painted, or they actually glued the bottle caps on.
Jeep Dodge Ram was honored to give a teacher, an art teacher, Ms. Robin DeCamp, a 2-year lease of a 2017 Jeep Renegade. We're very honored to be able to do this for this teacher. She's more than well deserving, and we're very excited that we were able to help her out.
Ms. DeCamp won a new car! She won a car for 2 years!
We did a drawing for 5 consecutive days, and in drawing we drew 5 names every day, and then towards the very end, 1 teacher was selected. We are very appreciative of all of our teachers. All of our educators never get thanked enough, so for this week and for many more days, we would like to thank all of you for everything that you do for all of our youth.
It's a great big thank you to the dealership and to the district.
And I love the new car.
recognize people who do a great job. We have the district and the school-based Superintendent Outstanding Award winner, and we also get to recognize the elementary principal of the year and the secondary principal of the year. What a send-off for the summer. Ms. Berry, I just want to give the Superintendent's Outstanding Achievement Award to you this year. I know that you've been here at the school since it's opened.
Yes, I have.
And Jen Williams has told us that you are her right, left hand, and you do quite a bit here. We appreciate it, and I know the faculty and the staff appreciates you.
I love it. So I want to congratulate you. We all know who does the real work around here, right?
I would like to present you with this little token of our appreciation. We really appreciate all that you do for our students every day.
Thank you all very much. I wouldn't trade a single second.
What is it about this school? You had the counselor of the year, the first-year teacher of the year, the principal of the year. Your students achieve at a high level across the district, so there's magic going on here.
Thank you.
And it always goes back to the leader.
She's just an amazing person, and I'm so happy that you are our elementary principal of the year. Couldn't happen to a nicer, sweeter person. Love you.
It is a pleasure to be here, and it is an honor to represent principals in Volusia County and any educator in Volusia County. It is the best place to be. So go Team Volusia!
Imaginative principals that we have, and this school has just rocketed. Since she's been here, I'm so proud of this school, and then I'm so proud of Patty Corin. Isn't she well deserving of this?
We recognize this isn't just her, it takes the team, but boy is she a rock star.
I would never be standing here if it wasn't for each and every one of you. You know that. And I just hope that I'm worthy of being your leader, and I've done you proud. And this is a great day for Galaxy Middle School. Absolutely.
I can tell everybody in the planning department, this is one of the busiest ladies that I see. She is always here. She always does a great job. I cannot think of a better district employee to receive the Superintendent's Outstanding Award.
Thank you. Thank everybody. I have loved all of my time working here. I told Sarah Lee she was not allowed to retire until I did, because I wasn't working for anybody else. And so just thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
None of this would be possible without the support that we get from the Futures Foundation. Once again, they prove to us they support our students, our schools,
our administrators and staff. Thank you, Futures.
Hi, my name is Hanya Ahmed, and I'm a senior at DeLand High School. I think it's important to try to use the influence that you have to support other people.
So today marked the official groundbreaking for construction of Pearson Elementary Replacement School. And yeah, it's somewhat of a symbolic act. We had everyone here. We had an incredible turnout. So this is a way to formally kick off the actual construction of our new school.
This school is just a model for 21st century learning. It's going to be just an exciting space for our kids to come into, and I can't wait to see their faces when they enter this building for the first time. The interior design of the school is flexible and just made and designed for education.
Hi, my name is Lynn Sieber. I'm the AVID coordinator and elective teacher here at Seabreeze High School. I really work on relationship with my students. I want to create a haven for them to come to me with celebrations, to share about sadness or struggles in their everyday lives. And there's lots of love here. What I hope that they will take away from this is to be good human beings, to be people who care about others. When the students walk through my door, they walk not only into my classroom, but they walk into my heart.
Well, we wanted to focus on beautification of our school, so we wanted to see how we could do that, and we thought about the reusing and recycling of the bottle caps, and we decided to do a bottle cap mural. The process that we went through is collecting all the bottle caps, and then we designed a picture and put it on the 16-foot piece of plywood and was able to paint the design on it. After that, the students were able to glue all the caps on color by color. The image came from because we are the Eagles, and we wanted something to demonstrate how they are soaring through creativity. The kids really like to be involved in art at Horizon, and I think that they all took a lot of pride in this project. All the students come in every day, and they all feel like they were part of it because either they collected, they painted, or they actually glued the bottle caps on.
Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram was honored to give a teacher, an art teacher, Ms. Robin DeCamp, a 2-year lease of a 2017 Jeep Renegade. We're very honored to be able to do this for this teacher. She's more than well deserving, and we're very excited that we were able to help her out.
Mr. Kemp won a new car! She won a car for 2 years!
We did a drawing for 5 consecutive days, and in drawing we drew 5 names every day, and then towards the very end, 1 teacher was selected. We are very appreciative of all of our teachers. All of our educators never get thanked enough, so for this week and for many more days, we would like to thank all of you for everything that you do for all of our youth.
It's a great big thank you to the dealership and to the district.
And I love the new car.
Today we get to recognize people who do a great job. We have the district and the school-based Superintendent Outstanding Award winner, and we also get to recognize the elementary principal of the year and the secondary principal of the year. What a send-off for the summer. Ms. Berry, I just want to give the Superintendent's Outstanding Achievement Award to you this year. I know that you've been here at the school since it's opened.
Yes, I have.
And
Jen Williams has told us that you are her right, left hand, and you do quite a bit here. We appreciate it, and I know the faculty and the staff appreciate you.
I love it. So I want to congratulate you. We all know who does the real work around here, right?
I would like to present you with this little token of our appreciation. We really appreciate all that you do for our students every day.
Thank you all very much. I wouldn't trade a single second.
What is it about this school? You had the counselor of the year, the first year teacher of the year, the principal of the year. Your students achieve at a high level across the district, so there's magic going on here.
Thank you.
And it always goes back to the leader.
She's just an amazing person, and I'm so happy that you are our elementary principal of the year. Couldn't
That's
happen
so
to a
sweet.
nicer,
Thank
sweeter
you.
person. Love you.
It is a pleasure to be here, and it is an honor to represent principals in Volusia County and any educator in Volusia County. It is the best place to be. So go Team Volusia!
Is one of the most imaginative principals that we have, and this school has just rocketed it. Since she's been here, I'm so proud of this school, and then I'm so proud of Patty Corin. Isn't she well deserving of this?
We recognize this isn't just her, it takes the team, but boy is she a rock star.
I would never be standing here if it wasn't for each and every one of you. You know that. And I just hope that I'm worthy of being your leader, and I've done you proud. And this is a great day for Gallatin Middle School. Absolutely.
I can tell everybody in the planning department, this is one of the busiest ladies that I see. She is always here. She always does a great job. I cannot think of a better district employee to receive the Superintendent's Outstanding Award.
Thank you.
I thank everybody. I have loved all of my time working here. I told Sarah Lee she was not allowed to retire until I did, because I wasn't working for anybody else. And so just
I'd like to call to order the school board meeting of Volusia County, Florida, June 13th to order. Can you all please stand for the pledge? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone, this rainy afternoon Definitely summertime in Florida. I'd like to welcome and introduce all of you to the people at the dais. To my left is Mrs. Ida Wright. She's from District 2, the Daytona area. Dr. John Hill from District 1, the Orange City, DeLand, and Pearson area. Mr. Ted Doran, our school board attorney. To my right is Ms. Connie Wines, our agency clerk. Mr. Carl Persis, the newbie on the board. He's from the Ormond and Holly Hill area, District 4. I am Mrs. Cuthbert. I represent District 3. I'm the vice chairman, taking the place of Melody Johnson right now. I'm representing the southern part of Port Orange, New Smyrna, Edgewater, Samsula, and Oak Hill. Welcome. Items for the approval on this agenda are items 1.03, 2.02, 4.01, 12.01, 15.01, and 18.0.01. Right now, we will have public participation just one time this afternoon. Shortly for items requiring approval on this agenda and for items of general interest. Oh, let's. Okay, I was following this. This is not correct.
No, this is, you just made that.
Okay. All right, this is not, okay.
She just reads this public participation. We have it one time today, shortly.
And then I do 1.02.
Yeah, then you do 1.02.
All right. All right, there's nothing like getting together and getting it worked out. All right, let's move on. Items for approval of the agenda, we've just announced. We are now participating in public participation. When your name is called, please come to the dais, speak directly into the microphone. Please state your name. You will have 4 minutes, and also your address as well for the record. Miss Olivieri. Yes, Miss Joanna.
Joanne, just have a seat. We jumped ahead.
Okay, well, again, it's before that.
Okay, it's.
Hang in there, Joanne. Just read that. Also, just sit there.
Oh, okay.
Just telling them it'll be short.
We're not going to use this time.
Okay.
Just letting them know it'll be short.
Oh, okay.
Just explain.
I'm taking the thing literally instead of suggestively, so we're going to have you up here in just a second. If you, pretty please.
Count these as my steps.
Anything I can do to help you out? Okay. This is an announcement, not a direction. All right, we will have public participation only one time today. All right, that's okay?
That's right.
All right, we will, this is only for items requiring approval on the agenda and for items of general interest pertaining to public education in Volusia County. My apologies. Okay, 1.02, board member comments regarding the district vision statement, and Mr. Carl Persis has that honor.
This is our first school board meeting since our high school graduations. And the good people up here, we all had the privilege to being at all 10 of those high school graduations and being on the stage, shaking the hands of those students. I wish all of you could have been there just to see the excitement on the students as they come forward and they hear their name announced and they're just smiling. They're so excited. There's so much energy. It's really thrilling. And then they go on to receive their high school diploma and get their photograph taken with their principal. And you know, I was just thinking about how proud all the parents were and their friends and family in the audience, and everyone clapping and cheering and all the celebrations, and it's just so much fun. And I'm thinking about those 2017 graduates now, and I wonder what they're doing. You know, are they making plans for college? Are they maybe planning to take a trip like so many students do? They take a little time off. Do they already have a job? Are they making plans to find some work soon? You know, you just wonder, like, you know, what are they thinking? What's next for them? This chapter of their life is now over, and they're looking ahead. And as it relates to our mission statement, I think about next year's high school graduating class, the class of 2018, and then the class of 2019, and the class of 2020, and all the classes after them. And so our challenge is, and each of us up here take it very seriously, is just to make sure that each student every day, that we're doing our best to provide them with those opportunities, so that in fact they can receive a superior 21st century education.
Thank you, Mr. Persis. I would like to seek the approval of the minutes of May 9th, 2017, and the budget workshop of May 19th, 2017. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Well, then it's passed. Is there a vote? Okay. I should know that. Okay. All those who agree, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those who are nays, please say so. The motion is passed. Thank you. I move that I need an approval for the agenda changes and removal of items from the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, we will remove item 1701, approval of employee benefit and renewal.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the agenda with the amendment of the removal of 17.001?
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the agenda as printed with the one exception.
Second.
Second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any of those who say no? Okay, the motion is passed. All right, now, Ms. Olivieri. All right, we will now have public participation concerning the items on the agenda and the items of general interest pertaining to public education in Volusia County. Our first young lady at the dais is Ms. Joanna Caney Olivieri. Please state your name and address, and you have 4 minutes.
Joanna Caney Olivieri, 22 Minnow Drive, Ormond Beach. So because I've come up here several times and talked about my daughter's award-winning math FSA score, I wanted to give you a little update. When I finally was able to log in, I nearly fell out of my chair. My first thought was the Russians hacked my account and changed her score. But then I'm thinking, they probably can't navigate this system either. So she has consistently scored a 2 from her FCAT, her 3rd grade year, her 4th grade year FSA, her 5th grade FSA. It has never reconciled with her report card. And I have always thought to myself, what is wrong with my child? Why does this test say one thing and her report card says another? And I've always argued the report card is the end-all be-all. She scored a 4.
Wow.
So do I think, her ELA did go down. Do I think that she miraculously got more intelligent this year or overnight? No. Do I think that she was given, and I don't want to say the word I'm thinking, but kick, you know what, teacher this year? I attribute this score to not so much the math instruction that she was given on a daily basis, but to the faith, and I'm gonna get emotional, the faith that this teacher instilled in my daughter, in her ability to, for every time my daughter said, I can't, her teacher and the tutor that I hired midway through the year that's a Pine Trail Elementary teacher said tenfold over, you can, you will, and you are. her teacher at Ormond Middle, I'm not telling names because I don't want any transfers. I don't want anybody stealing my people. And I wish I could give a shout out to them. But every morning that she wasn't in a meeting, her door was open. And I thought, oh, middle school, this is great. My daughter doesn't have to go to school till 9 o'clock, sleep in, whatever. My child was at school more mornings than not at 8 a.m., 8:15 at the latest, because she was in that teacher's room. Not because she loves math, and not because her mama told her to go, but because she had developed a relationship with that teacher, and she was in there to get help on whether it was one problem or 10. My daughter was in that classroom because of the relationship that she had with that teacher and that teacher had with my daughter. And this isn't just about my daughter. I put it on Facebook, and I can't tell you how many people said, that teacher's phenomenal, my child feels the same way. I mean, those teachers stand up there 180 days a year, 6 hours a day, and they teach a curriculum, but that's the a la carte. Your dinner is the confidence, the faith that they're putting in those kids, the ability, like, I just can't tell you that this score means nothing to me. It means nothing to us. It's a 6th grade test score. It's gonna go in some file and be gone. It's not gonna get her a job, it's not gonna get her into college, but what it is gonna get her, the confidence that she has now isn't gonna go anywhere. That's with her forever, and never will she ever be able to say, I can't, because she has. I don't like any test score that makes a whole bunch of money for other people. But this test score has done something for my child that I am grateful for. And the teachers, it's the teachers, and it's not so much the curriculum as it is everything else they're teaching these children. I was blown away. I literally almost fell out of my chair. So I just wanted to give a great big shout out to. I have always had amazing teachers for my kids. I've never had a bad experience with a teacher. We have always been very fortunate, but the teachers are teaching our children a whole lot more than what that curriculum mandates. And for that, I'm appreciative. And then I'm just gonna give a little shout out to my 4th grader who scored a 376 out of a 376 on his math, so.
Wow. Very good.
Nobody can say it's from my gene pool, but I'm proud of them.
Thank you very much. Miss Albert?
Students learn when they like their teacher. Dressed up?
I know. Good evening, Madam Vice Chair, board members, Superintendent Russell, and members of the audience. I'm Elizabeth Albert, and I reside at 903 Dubber Lane in Ormond Beach. And I am the Executive Vice President for the Instructional Personnel of Volusia United Educators. I come before you with some questions. What type of school district do we envision? Is our district one that focuses on students and is supportive of all employees? Do we want to be a district that retains employees at high rates and is a sought-after place to build a career? Do we want to be a district that is the envy of the state and the nation? I know each of you want our students to achieve greatness, but to do so, we have to have the type of leadership in our schools that fosters a true culture of learning, not just for students, but also for employees. Please note that I use the term leadership and not management. There's a saying that great businesses, organizations, and even schools have leaders, not bosses. I believe that there's an important distinction between the two. When you hear the term leader, what do you think about? Someone who inspires, someone who motivates, someone who creates an environment where everyone has a role and a voice? When you hear the term boss, what do you think about? Someone who gives orders and directives, someone who hires and fires, someone who makes decisions that are final. Which one do you think is better for our schools? I want to share with you a few points from an article that I recently read titled Advice for New Teachers. The writer gave a list of suggestions that she felt new teachers needed to follow in order to have a successful first year. However, the list was full of don'ts. Let me just share a few. Don't write a blog, don't say anything at faculty meetings, and don't write disciplinary referrals. The writer told new teachers basically to make themselves invisible and to pretend that they love data. When I read this, I stopped to wonder, is this the way that we groom and inspire our future leaders? This year, several teachers were non-reappointed who had extremely strong evaluations, and I commend the district for working with VIEW to address these concerns. However, it appears that a first-year teacher must be perfect in every way in order to keep their job. And we know that distinguished teachers are lifelong learners who develop over time and are continuously striving to improve their instructional practice. Yet some of our new teachers are not even afforded an opportunity to develop. And I recognize that not everyone demonstrates the qualities or competencies required to teach in our district. But for those teachers whose evaluations show promise, we should not cast them aside. And this seems to contradict the type of environment that we want to create. Now let's consider our current employees. Some teachers were told that they would be informed of their assignment for the 2017-18 school year sometime during the summer. Considering many, if not all, teachers plan and prepare for the next school year during the summer, this puts teachers and ultimately our students at a disadvantage. Also, as you may know, hundreds, and I just learned that potentially 1,000 teachers recently participated in Volusia Learns, which was an exciting and innovative professional learning institute that was geared toward building momentum for a great 2017-18 academic year. But unfortunately, for some teachers, their learning potential was stymied because they have not been informed of their assignment for the upcoming year. VU President Andrew Spar continues to say we have to become proactive rather than reactive. And while we are making progress, we still have a long way to go. We are at a crossroads. What kind of leadership does the district desire? Leadership that inspires, engages, and motivates, or leadership that demands, dictates, and directs? Do we want a district where teachers, staff, parents, and students are valued and engaged stakeholders, or a district where teachers, staff, parents, and students just stay quiet and out of the way? Consider your vision, and let's work together to make Volusia County Schools the envy of all. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This ends public participation. Would now like to have a motion for the approval of the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who say no, say nay. Thank you. Motion is passed. Superintendent will now give his announcements. Mr.
Thank you,
Russell?
Madam Chair. Mandatory close dates will be Friday, June 17th, 2007, and district offices will be closed. The next regular school board meeting will be Tuesday, June 27th, 2017, at 5:30 p.m. in this boardroom at the DeLand Administrative Complex. That concludes my announcements.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Russell.
What I'd like to do is give an update on our transparency efforts, and this presentation will be made by Ms. Deb Muller, Nancy Waite, and Sarah Lee Morrissey.
Hello again. Excuse me. I know that since I was hired as the CFO for Volusia, I know we've talked a lot about transparency and wanting to be more transparent so that all of our stakeholders and community members can find the information that they need on our district. This has been some time coming, and also we have a long way to go. I just want to say that this is the first stab at this financial transparency webpage. We know that when we have our new ERP implemented, that we would certainly like to get input from the board and from other people on what you would like to see. And still, if there's anything that we have available now, we would welcome your input on that. Transparency is characterized by visibility or accessibility to information. And financial transparency certainly requires the publishing of financial information, financial reports, and budget information, and bids awarded, et cetera. Transparency Florida came about in 2009 when Governor Christ at the time signed into law requirement that the state of Florida publish a lot of financial information on their website and set what the minimum requirements are. We have had a lot of this information on our website in various places, but what we've done now is to pull it together into one page. And so that's what we want to show you. I know, somebody's playing with my
It's
the
moving
mouse.
slow.
No, did you go to?
It's the internet.
Go to
It's the internet? No, I'm not doing that.
Chad's trying to get it to go.
They are hacking it. They took it over. That's fine.
My screen is taken over here.
I perfectly understand, yes.
Oh, I saw that page was up, and I was trying to, it's because it's different up here.
We really need the internet.
Yeah, we're going to the internet to see this, so.
Must be the rain.
It's kind of imperative.
It's not very transparent.
If the internet doesn't work, we're going to need to delay this
Yeah,
to
that's
another
okay.
meeting.
All right.
Because we'll all be going on the internet for
Yeah.
our presentation. Yeah. Okay.
Well, while they work on that, do you want to move on and we can call you back up if they?
That'd be
Sure.
fine.
Sure.
Thank you, ladies. All right, we will move on right now to 15.01, administrative appointments.
Thank you,
Mr.
Madam
Russell.
Chair. This presentation will be made by Ms. Dana Page Pender, Chief Human Resource Officer.
Vice Chair, School Board Members, Superintendent Russell. I'm pleased to present the following superintendent's recommendations. Mr. Robert Vogus, also known as BJ, from Resource Teacher in Professional Development to Assistant Principal of Mainland High School. Mr. Vogus began his career with Volusia County Schools in 2006. He has served in the capacity of teacher and peer assistant and review teacher, also known as PAR. Mr. Vogus's areas of certification are educational leadership and social science. And Mr. Rodney Smith, Assistant Principal at Mainland High School to Assistant Director of Operations for Student Transportation Services. Mr. Smith began his career with Volusia County Schools in 2001. He has served in the capacity of teacher and teacher on assignment. Mr. Smith's areas of certification are educational leadership and physical education.
The superintendent recommends approval of these administrative appointments.
Is there a motion for approval?
Move approval?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of these fine gentlemen joining their new positions, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Thank you, the motion is passed. Welcome, gentlemen. Gentlemen, now that we've allowed you to sit back down, could you please stand back up and join us in the front? And your immediate supervisors, please come forward as well. Is that all right?
Do you want all of us?
Oh, yes. All of us, please.
should be open. We probably just have to rewind.
Too wide?
I came in this earlier, but it's probably not.
Are we ready?
How long?
Hang on, I got a couple phones. They're gonna call. Okay, one more. Sorry. Yay. Okay, good.
That's always good news.
Mhm.
See that?
Jeanette? We're all set? Okay, let's go back to 1401. This is the transparency presentation.
I'll try to be more transparent this time. Okay. So the Transparency Florida Act stated what data at minimum should be included on this website, and we have included that on our site as well. This is the district page that we're going to go to. We will be adding a button on the front of the web page so that you will be able to go directly to it from a financial transparency button. But this is taking you to that page now. And it is right now housed underneath financial services. To the left, it's the top button here.
She's not displaying.
Is that, what's that? Is it not displaying? Oh.
No.
You can't do that. So how's the website gonna be showing?
I don't know.
If you can't go on a website, this whole thing is. This whole.
Okay.
It's just, we understand.
We perfectly understand. We will postpone your presentation. I'm sure it'll be 10 times better next time.
Okay. Okay, 1601.
All right. We're moving on to 16.01. Mr. Russell?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This presentation
We'll postpone it. That's okay.
down. Okay. On the District Advisory Committee annual report will be presented by Mrs. Leslie LaRue, Chairman of the District Advisory Committee, and Ms. Nancy Wade.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Vice Chairman Cuthbert, members of the board. Mr. Russell, I am here with Leslie LaRue, who has served as the District Advisory Committee Chairman for 2 years, and I think Vice Chairman for maybe 2 or 3 years as well. And part of our bylaws say that we need to come to the school board and I'm going to turn it over to Leslie to do that.
Thank you. Well, I've had the privilege of being a DAC representative for going on 10 years, and I've absolutely enjoyed every minute of it. And actually, I take that back, 7 years, because my youngest was an infant the first time I brought her to a DAC meeting, and I can remember learning about Race to the Top. So I've really thoroughly enjoyed going to these meetings. I find them highly informative and encourage more people to attend. But there we discuss, each school has a representative that comes, And then they share that information at their SAC meetings so that that information can be known about what the district offers and different opportunities throughout the year. We have 8 monthly meetings that we alternate between Mainland High School and Deltona High School so that each side of the county has an opportunity to attend. And we also represent or have a representative on the Teacher of the Year Committee and the Calendar Committee. As you can see, we had 7 schools that had 100% attendance. I know 2 of those schools, that was helpful because I was their representative as well, but I enjoyed doing that and hoped I can continue for those schools. Some of the topics we had that are also available for review, and all the presentations are there attached for under the agendas and minutes, where you can see we had student progression plan, which is a requirement that is addressed every single year. And then we talked about career ready mainland wall-to-wall academies, which was very fascinating to see that as a new model of school. Many of us have academies at our high schools, but don't have wall-to-wall like this features. And something that I was particularly impressed with at that meeting was the fact that every single rising 8th grader met with a counselor to discuss what their path would be and where they would be placed and where they would be the most successful. So that was exciting to hear. We talked about STEM because, of course, that's a new gaining momentum industry to see science, technology, engineering, and math just soar, and that's exciting. It's exciting to hear my daughter say they love science and math, and that's new because it used to be girls were all about English, and so I'm excited for that. Student Code of Conduct, again, that is an annual yearly thing where we can find out where referrals go and different levels of offenses. An update on the half-cent sales tax, which of course we all enjoy getting to see the new buildings that are going up and the different projects that are happening thanks to that money. SAC accreditation and technology, bullying, and then school choice and controlled open enrollment. So we had the election of our new officers in May, and the chairman will be Angela Kopnicki and the vice chairman Sidra DeSacher. And next year's agenda and topics will be discussed by them with Mrs. Waite. And so, are there any questions?
Board members, do you have any questions?
I have one. What time do you all meet?
We meet at 5:15.
5:15, not 5:16.
No, not 5:16. And I try to start at 5:15. You can ask the room. That is one thing. we try to start right on that dot.
I'm just teasing you. And you've been on it a long time.
Yes.
So has 5:15 always been the starting time, and if not, why did it change?
It's been since I've attended for 7 years, but I don't know.
It has been. We do look at the bylaws, every couple of years and ask if a different day or school would be better suit the members, but it's never changed.
No,
they seem to be satisfied with it.
I think it's a great time. 5:16 may be just as good, but 5:15 works. And I'm assuming that works to give people time to get from school or to get from work or to get from childcare, whatever the case may be.
Well, and I think also because we have allotted an hour and a half for the meeting, that we've talked about 5:30, and I know that's been brought up, but I know that a lot of people staying till 7 just isn't as appealing. I mean, again, it's 15 minutes, but it's that whole mindset, I guess.
Thank you. And thank you for your service, too.
Well, I'm happy to do it. So thank you.
Time service.
Mrs. Wright?
Your committee, during your report, do you ever bring back recommendations that you would like for us to consider for the next year?
Occasionally, there have been years that the school board has requested to have, because the committee does serve in an advisory capacity. And so I remember having a very heated discussion on honor roll, maybe the salutatorian and valedictorian. Those types of issues have gone to the committee this year or the last couple of years. I don't think we've had a topic like that.
But they're encouraged to make recommendations on the pupil progression plan, and as well as the student code of conduct.
Yes, every year we make those presentations and ask for their input on both of those.
And I also was on the student information system group. I was involved in that too.
I'm just wondering, because, you know, you do give of your time, you and the committee members, and if you have some recommendations to make, or because you see things that we don't necessarily see. And so
I think they all feel very open and free to contact everybody. I think it's a nice way for them to get to see school board members and feel very comfortable with Mr. Russell and the area superintendents that they see at, well, nearly every single meeting. They get to see everyone that's in the cabinet at some point or another. So I feel like they feel fairly comfortable to reach out to.
Dr. Hill? Ms. LaRue, thank you very much for your service, and Mrs. Wade is always there. I represent the East Side, so I go to your mainland meetings. They're the most rewarding meetings to attend. There's always a presentation. It's always apropos. It's always timely for issues that are going on. And what is so unique about this, there's a representative that's supposed to attend from each and every school. So it's a wonderful opportunity for each school to have input in the district. So, and I think it's extremely important that we improve this, continue, and improve the communication between our schools. Do the schools have any opportunity to submit questions? Or, you know, this is happening at our school, what's happening at other schools? I don't remember a lot of times where there's been open discussion amongst the schools themselves.
It honestly depends on topic oftentimes, but the DAC representative is supposed to be that person that goes to SAC and SAC says, will you please ask this at the next meeting? Or sometimes we'll get emails every once in a while, and I will forward those on. If I don't know the immediate answer, I will forward those on so that they can be answered.
Do you receive feedback from those representatives, how to improve DAC, or anything else?
Our very first meeting
was it worthwhile
this year,
for them?
we conducted kind of a roundtable to get that kind of feedback and to talk about the time and whether that works and other, what are we doing right? What can we change to make it better and more informative for you? And we got a lot of positive feedback and a few ideas for change. They liked sitting in smaller groups and talking and then reporting out.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you. Best to you in your new time.
Madam Vice Chair, can I ask her one more question?
Certainly. Ms. LaRue?
Miss LaRue, or Nancy, I'm just curious. I know state statute gives you the right to review school advisory councils, bylaws. You don't have to, and I'm just wondering if you ever, since you've served for a long time, have you ever been asked to do that, or has your committee ever brought that up? Nancy's shaking her head, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, well, we brought it up this year, but the committee did not desire to make any changes.
Oh,
but,
you mean the
well,
DAC bylaws? You mean individual school bylaws,
yeah,
right?
I actually did, because
Okay,
you do
yeah.
have the right to review individual schools'
I see what you're
bylaws to see. if-
They're supposed to do it in the same frequency, just like any PTA or anything else.
yeah,
So
great,
theoretically, they should be doing that on their.
Thank you, thank you.
Thanks again. Okay. Did you want to revisit 1401 or? Believe it or not, we're to the items from the school board, superintendent and our school board attorney. So we're getting close to the end of our meeting. Is there a board member who would like to go first? Dr. Hill? Comments, questions? Mrs. Wright?
Had opportunity to attend a neighborhood watch meeting, invited to another one, and was able just to talk about a little bit about our grades, and some of the questions was about some of the transition, the article that was in the newspaper about the new principals and some of the movements within administration. A lot of discussion about House Bill 769, how could they participate and to send something to the governor, and then quite naturally the uniforms. Had several organizations trying to find out how and where they should purchase uniforms. and if the district was gonna purchase uniforms from the monies we received last year, and could they either just add to that, or should they partner? So I told him it was, because it is separate funds, private funds, that it was two different organizations there, that maybe they should collaborate and then decide the school or schools they would like to support. And so one group is spending about $1,500 for uniforms, and another one is right around $1,000. So they all support the uniform, but it was a little bit about the uniform, some of the things that were really going on in Tallahassee, but the meeting went really well.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Wright. Mr. Persis?
Just wanted to, again, state my concern about House Bill 7069, and now I'm getting, I guess we're seeing rumors now that he is going to sign it, and may happen on Thursday. And I just hope that's one rumor that is not truthful. So we'll just have to wait and see. I do want to thank the folks that put together the financial report that we heard earlier. That was a lot of data to pull together in a very short period of time, and I appreciate them doing that. At least it helps. Whether the news is great or the news is not so great, we have to know what we have, and that's up to us to figure out the best way to spend it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Persis. Am I next, or do I go last?
You're the chairman.
You get to do it joint?
Yes.
Well, I'll let you two gentlemen go first. How's that? Ladies last. Let's make a difference. Mr.
Okay,
Doran?
I'll just mention that at the pre-board meeting, I did have an item put on the agenda for the review of the evaluation instrument for the superintendent. So at the next meeting, that's what we'll be doing. And in the next couple of days, I'll get a packet out of some examples and a few things so you guys can start getting your thoughts together. I think it's pretty much a discussion thing at the next meeting, and then direct me to come back with something that would ultimately then be approved, and with the superintendent's full involvement and approval and consideration in the process. So that's all.
Mr. Dorn, did we not agree upon two template or two evaluation tools last year to be considered for this year?
I don't know. No, I don't have that recollection, but I can go back and look in the minutes.
Okay, because I think we all looked at maybe about 4. Do any of you recall? And we kind of narrowed it down to 2 other districts.
We looked at, you're right, there were 4 or 5, and I know Collier County.
Right, and we narrowed it down to 2, I thought. But I'll go back and look at my records as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep, well, whatever you guys decide, that's what we'll do.
All right, thank you. Mr. Russell?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, you do not slow down in a school system during the summer. We have a very strong professional development department, and Mrs. Albert alluded to this, but there was outstanding professional development last week at Mainland High School. Over 1,000 teachers there. We had national speakers there as well. What it did, they addressed teacher and school efficacy, belief in student success, and it all goes back to relationships, you know, with the teachers and administrators and school bus drivers, with the students, and how to build from there, and the focus on how to use our standards and teach up, you know, with our students. And it was just quality professional development. I was just so pleased with it, and I went to many sessions. I talked to teachers, and they really felt it was of value. This week, our school leadership teams are meeting on the east side and west side. It's a team of teacher leaders, school administrators, and Carl, you remember when you were principal, you wrote your school improvement plan in October, and you didn't implement it till January. Right. They're writing it now. They're looking at data, and they're pulling that together, and that will help them focus throughout the summer as they plan. So I'm very happy about that. I would like to also congratulate the class of 2017. You alluded to it earlier. Let's share some facts.
We had 4,083 students graduate that weekend. Now, there are some students, as we all know, they missed graduation by a course or two. They're working on it this summer. They can get a 2017 diploma if they're through with their coursework by August. And so we're hoping to increase those numbers. 33.7 of our graduating seniors graduated with honors, 3.5 or higher. Cumulatively, 267,283 hours of community service, a 35% increase of total number of community service hours. If you paid those students minimum wage, $8.10 an hour, they did $2.1 million worth of work in our community. Now but there's more good news. The class of 2017 cumulatively secured over $31 million in scholarships. 857 seniors graduated with industry certification. 357 of those students have multiple certifications. We had 113 of our students graduate from high school with their AA degree. And yesterday I met for my collaboration meeting with Dr. Tom Labasso, great president of DSC. And at their graduation, he asked the seniors, our seniors, high school students who have earned their degree to stand up. And he said it was just amazing, you know, the number of our students that did complete that task. We had over 293 students earn the Florida's newest designation as Seal of Biliteracy. We had students enlist in every branch of the service. In this class, we had National Merit finalists, National Merit Committed Scholars, and hundreds of Bright Future Scholarship recipients. So all in all, our class of 2017 were very successful. And that concludes my statements.
Thank you, Mr. Russell. I think at a future board meeting sometime this summer, probably not next board meeting, but I would like to have GCA come and report how the 16-17 year went, what did they implement that made improvements, and what plans do they have for the summer, or what has happened for the summer for cleanup, and what do they see as a future goal, what are the areas of improvement. And also, I also invite teachers, staff members, administrators to contact us, contact your board members for suggestions to see how your schools are working. If there's anything you would like for us to pay close attention to, please let us know. For the last 2 years, Carolyn Carbonell, principal of Deltona, came up with a brilliant idea 2 years ago to allow freshmen to come to school that first day of school totally alone. Last year, 6 high schools had the same process, where only the freshmen came the first day of school, and then the rest of the high school population started the second, and then onward. I would like to know if there's any data yet about academic or behavioral pluses for this. Is there any data yet available, or is it possible to have anything that would be allowable to show that there's been an increase with those freshman classes?
I can say with the ELA, the freshman class across the district increased.
Yeah.
You know, that's the most recent data.
That's wonderful.
But we'll look at what your request.
Okay, that's super. I'd also like how the schools are doing on uniform compliances on campuses. How many referrals have there been? Do more, because I think I've seen as I visit schools, some schools adhere to the uniform policy more than others do. And let's see. And I think that's all this one. Also, I would like to comment, there was an editorial in the Sentinel today. It's by Brandon Hott, and he's a Volusia County High School science teacher, but he's also the founding board member of the Florida Citizens for Science. He wrote a brilliant editorial advocating science for the state of Florida. I'd like to read the last paragraph. Now, he's not just talking about Volusia County, it's for Florida The bottom line is that understanding science is vital to being a productive citizen in the world today, and even more so in the near future. Florida's leaders need to stop their consistent hand-waving and confront the issue with the same energy they've put into other school subjects. Florida's future, economy, natural resources, and health are at stake. Yes, we put a lot of emphasis into math and ELA and a lot of STEM, but let's not forget science as well. It's very difficult to find good science teachers. And our biology teachers that typically teach ninth graders, my hats are off to you, because quite an unruly group of kids, those little stinkers who are ninth graders, and I've had plenty of them myself, for them to buckle down and do biology. And overall, I believe our district's doing very well in biology for our ninth graders. So my hat's off to Mr. Hott, who wrote a very concise, pertinent essay in the paper, Who Cares Enough? And I heard that often today. It's the human element that makes us successful. It's the teacher-student relationship. It's teachers who care about our students beyond the classroom. And only then will we be successful in our 21st century. So I wish all of you a very happy next 2 weeks. It's almost the first half of the year is over. And with that, everyone have a safe trip home. Thank you. The meeting is adjourned.